Imagine for a moment you're in a place where things seem clear and effortless, where every thought flows naturally and seamlessly, where your mind understands and accepts new ideas with ease. It's as if you are sitting in a comfortable chair, where you can simply relax and observe, knowing that every word you hear is a gift that gently unfolds the reality of your thoughts and feelings. And as you listen, something shifts inside, as if the world around you just opens up in new and exciting ways you hadn't even imagined before. You begin to notice how even your own thoughts about your emotions, those things that you sometimes feel, they're not so much about the emotions themselves, but about how you feel about those emotions. It's like you've been holding up a mirror to your feelings, but you never noticed before what was really interesting. It's not the reflection in the mirror, but the way you look at the mirror. You see, it's not about the emotion that you feel, but about your relationship with that emotion, your perception of it. Have you ever noticed how the way that you view a situation, it can change everything about how you feel in that situation? Look, when you first walk into a room and you notice the temperature, you might decide whether it's too hot, too cold, or just right, based on your personal response. It's not the room that's too hot or cold. It's the way you experience the temperature in the room that matters. And it's the same with emotions. Imagine for a moment you're experiencing a feeling, maybe something like frustration. And the question is, how do you feel about feeling frustrated? Not about the frustration itself, but about your reaction to it. You see, in this secondary layer, this meta-level awareness, that can unlock a completely different perspective. What if you could think about frustration as something that simply happens, but then, from the second layer, you can choose how you feel about the fact that you're feeling frustrated? Can you begin to feel a sense of control, even over something that seems out of control? Just like how you choose to react to a movie scene, whether it's thrilling, scary, or emotional. You can also choose how to relate to the feelings that come up for you. When you start to ask, how do I feel about feeling frustrated? Something extraordinary begins to happen. The emotion, it starts to lose its grip. You start to see the emotion is simply an experience that passes by. And you are the observer who chooses how to respond. When you ask yourself questions like, how does it make me feel to feel angry? Or how do I feel about feeling sad? You create new opportunities. What if the act of simply shifting your perspective on your own feelings, it could make all the difference? Imagine then how each time you pause and choose a new way to relate to your feelings, you find more and more freedom in your emotional world. It's like a dance, isn't it? Where you're not just reacting to the rhythm of life, but you're also setting your own rhythm. The way you respond to your emotions and to others around you, the tempo of your thoughts, your feelings, and your reactions. It's something that you can influence. And you begin to realise this influence, it lies not in how you feel, but in how you relate to what you're feeling. And as you move forward, you might find yourself naturally noticing the subtle shifts. Like how a person might notice their breath slowing down after they've relaxed into a comfortable chair. Just as the temperature of the room doesn't tell the whole story, neither do the emotions themselves. It's the way you feel about them that carries the power. So imagine how much more you can do, simply by shifting how you feel about your own reactions. Let's explore how these shifts work together. Just like the threads of a fine tapestry weaving in and out, connecting everything in ways to feel natural, effortless and fluid. Imagine for a moment that each belief you hold about your emotions is just another layer of this intricate design of your experience. And with each belief, there's a way to ask yourself, how do I feel about that belief? Maybe, just like a curious observer, you begin to notice something new, something exciting. What if instead of judging your feelings, you could embrace them as natural, like the seasons changing from summer to autumn, or the way the tide rises and falls? In doing so, you realize that feelings, they're not the problem, but the relationship you hold with those feelings is where the magic lies. So as you move through your day, notice how the simple act of asking, how does this make me feel about feeling this way? It can create small, powerful changes that ripple through your experience. And with each change, the world feels a little more open, a little more expansive, and a lot more in your control. And just like that, you'll start to notice something new. Your emotions, they're no longer overwhelming. They're just feelings, experiences that come and go. And with each passing moment, you have the choice to decide how you feel about them. And in that space of choice, you find your power. Let that thought settle in and allow it to guide you as you move through your day. Every moment is an opportunity to shift the way that you feel about the emotions that arise. And as you do, you begin to feel lighter, more empowered, more in control, simply because you realize the most important thing is not what you feel, but how you feel about feeling that way. So as you continue to relax into this moment, feel the ease of simply being present, and notice how effortlessly your thoughts flow, weaving together into a tapestry of understanding. Now as you listen, you begin to sense how the very nature of your emotions is not something to be feared or avoided, but simply a part of your experience. And with that experience, you've an extraordinary power that flows effortlessly, naturally, like a gentle current guiding you in the right direction. It's as though you've discovered a hidden treasure, not in the emotion itself, but in the way you relate to that emotion. You can begin to recognize emotions that are like clouds passing through the sky. Sometimes they're dark, sometimes they're light, but always they move on, and you, the observer. You're not the cloud, you're the sky. You're the vast space that allows the clouds to come and go, without judgment, simply accepting them for what they are, knowing that their time in the sky is fleeting. And so it becomes clearer. It's not the emotion itself that matters, but how you feel about the emotion. Every emotion is an invitation, an opportunity to choose how you respond. Perhaps you've never noticed before, but now you can see how you're the one who shapes the experience. Just like a painter choosing which colours to mix, you decide how to respond to the canvas of your emotions. Consider this. When you feel frustration, for example, ask yourself, how does it make me feel about feeling frustrated? The moment you ask, you create space. A subtle but powerful shift. As if you were stepping out of the emotion and into the role of the observer. In that space, you find new choices. Perhaps you notice the frustration. It isn't so intense when viewed from the outside. And as you watch it, just like a leaf floating on a stream, the intensity softens, changes, and soon it's no longer a problem, just a passing moment in time. Imagine as you continue, every time you feel something rise within you, whether it's excitement, sadness, anger, or joy, you have this powerful question. How do I feel about feeling this way? It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, you're not tangled up in the feeling itself, but stepping back and seeing the bigger picture. It's like zooming out from a close-up image to see the entire landscape, where the emotion becomes part of the larger flow of your experience. They no longer define you because you've decided how to relate to them. You've given yourself the freedom to choose. As you reflect, you realize this simple act of noticing your feelings and then shifting your perspective, it can create profound changes. It's as if you unlocked a secret door in your mind, one that leads you to a place of control, clarity and calm. With each new emotion, you take a deep breath and allow yourself to ask, how do I feel about this? And in that question, you find space, and in that space, you find freedom. What if every emotion, every feeling, it was simply an opportunity to experience more of yourself? What if instead of fighting against how you feel, you begin to understand your feelings, they're simply a response to the world around you. You see, it's not about avoiding emotions or trying to change them. It's about stepping back, allowing them to be, and then choosing how to relate to them. It's like learning to dance in a rhythm with your emotions, not pushing them away, not getting lost in them, but finding the balance between observing and engaging. And as you continue to explore this space, you notice something else. Your mind is beginning to shift its focus. Instead of getting lost in the current of your emotions, you now step back and observe them, noticing how they're fleeting, temporary, and how they always move. You see, the secret is not in trying to control the emotion, but in choosing how you respond to it, how you feel about it, and how you allow it to move through you. Each time you ask yourself, how do I feel about this? You rewire your relationships with your emotions, one step at a time. It's like reprogramming a compass to always point towards the direction of peace, understanding and clarity. With each new layer, you create a deeper and deeper sense of control, knowing no matter what emotions arise, you are the only one who decides how to relate to them. Imagine, if you will, your mind is like a vast, beautiful garden, and each emotion is a flower that blooms. Some flowers, they may be bright and full of joy, while others may be dark and stormy. But what if you realized the flowers, they don't control the garden. The garden simply is. And the flowers, they come and go. And you, as the gardener, choose how to respond to them. You decide which flowers to nurture and which to let go of, knowing no matter what happens, the garden will continue to grow, and you are in control of its direction. So as you continue to walk through your life, remember this. Emotions, they're like passing clouds, and how you feel about them is what shapes your experience. Each time you ask yourself, how do I feel about feeling this? You create a new pattern, a new way of seeing, a new way of being. And with each new pattern, you gain more and more freedom. As your emotions, they no longer have the power to dictate your experience. Instead, you now choose how you want to feel about them. And in that choice, you discover your true power. In this moment, let these beliefs sink deeply into your mind, your body, and your being. You're in control of your emotions, not by fighting them, but by understanding them, observing them, and choosing how you relate to them. Every emotion is an invitation, an opportunity to learn, to grow, and evolve. And now you understand. It's not the emotion that matters, but how you feel about feeling that emotion. So at every passing moment, as you move through life, know your emotions. They're simply a part of your experience, and you, the wise and calm observer, can choose how to relate to them, knowing you're always in control of how you feel about how you feel.